Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as promised, I'm sharing the second version of my predicted paper for IGCSE for MA1 to HR. If you're someone who's new to the channel and doesn't know about the first version, you can go to the link above, or you can go to the link shared in the description. You can go to the link in the description which has the Google Drive link, and from there you can access the PDF of the first version and the second version. These predicted papers comprise of those topics that did not come in paper one. Some of the topics overlap between paper one and paper two, so you'll see something similar in both the versions. I hope you find this video to be useful, and if at any point you have any confusions about anything, please leave a comment below. I'll help you out. So let's start with the questions now. So first question says that p equals to m squared minus 4c. Work out the value of p when m is -5 and c is 3. So we just substitute the value of m and c in the equation. So -5 squared minus 4 times 3, that's 25 minus 12, which is going to give us 30. So p equals to 30. Then it says expand and simplify. So we have a double bracket. So what we do is we multiply x with both the terms in the second bracket, and then 5 with both the terms in the second bracket. So that's x times x minus 7 plus 5 times x minus 7. X times x is x squared. X times 7 is -7x. 5 times x is 5x. And 5 times -7 is -35. Once you have expanded the brackets, you collect the like terms. So like terms are -7x and 5x, which gives us -2x. And everything else comes as it is. So this is your answer. Then it says Alberto, Bill, Candela, and Diana are 4 friends. Here is some information about the height of each of these friends. Alberto's height is 158 centimeters. Bill's height is 175 centimeters. Candela's height is greater than Diana's height. The median height of these 4 friends is 160 centimeters. The range of the heights of these 4 friends is 21 centimeters. Work out Candela's height and Diana's height. So for this, what we need to do is, let's first make 4 spaces for the heights. They're saying that the median height is 160. So that means 160 is going to be between the second and the third height. So we have 158, 175 given. So let's assume that 158 is over here. So if 160 is the median, 160 would equal to 158 plus x, x being this height, divided by 2. Now 160 times 2 is going to be 320. And then we do 320 minus 158. So that gives us 162 centimeters as x. Let's assume that 162 is over here, because if 160 is the median, that means 160 is between 158 and 162. Now they told us that Bill's height is 175. If 158 is over here and 160 is over here, which means 175 is going to come over here. And the reason for that is I'm arranging the heights in ascending order. So we're starting from the smallest and going to the biggest. For the smallest height, they told us that the range is 21. Now range is your difference between the maximum and minimum value. So 21 equals to 175 minus the minimum height, which means the minimum height is going to be 175 minus 21, which equals to 154 centimeters. So 154 is going to come over here, which is also correct because that's less than 158. So we can see that Candela's height is greater than Diana's height. So this is Candela's height. And this is Diana's height. Next question says that Mary saves for a holiday each year. In 2020, she saved a total of $720. In 2021, each month she saved $78. The total amount Mary saved in 2021 was P% more than the total she saved in 2020. Work out the value of P. So the total amount she saved in 2021, so amount in 2021 is P% more than total she saved in 2020. So amount in 2020 plus P over 100 of amount in 2020. So looking at the question, in 2021, each month she saved 78. So if each month has $78 saved, so in 12 months, we do 12 times 78, which equals to $936. So $936 is equal to 720 plus P over 100 times 720 again. So we do 936 minus 720 equals to P times 72 over 10. I cancel the zeros out. So 936 minus 720 is 216. 216 equals to P times 7.2. And 216 times 7.2 gives us the value of P, which is 30. So P is 30. Then it says Roberto is going to go on holiday. He has 2 coupons that will save him money on his holiday. Coupon A states that 18% of the cost of the accommodation will be provided, whereas in coupon B, 12.5% of the total cost of the accommodation and the flights. For Roberto's holiday, the cost of the accommodation is $1,600 and the cost of the flight is $800. Roberto can only use one of the coupons. He wants to save as much money as he can. Which of the 2 coupons, A or B, should he use? Show your working clearly. So for this, if you look at coupon A, it's giving 18% off on accommodation. So that means he's paying 82%. So accommodation is going to be 82% of 1,600. That's what he's going to pay, which is 1,312. Whereas in B, is getting 12.5% of the total cost of the accommodation and the flight. So we first find the total cost. That's going to be 1,600 plus 800, which is $2,400. So now discount price is going to be 12.5% off of 2,400. So basically he's going to pay 87.5% of 2,400. So 2,400 times 87.5 over 100. And that's going to give us $2,100. So total for coupon A is going to be 1,312 plus the flight cost, which is 800. That adds up to 2,112. Whereas using coupon B, he's going to pay 2,100. So which of the 2 coupons A or B should use? He should use B because it's cheaper. And we can see that it will make the cost of the trip 2,100. Then it says write an equation of the straight line with the gradient -3 and which passes through the point with coordinate 0, 5. So slope-intercept form is y equals to mx plus c, where m is your gradient and c is your y-intercept. Now y-intercept is that point where your x is equal to 0, which is already given in the question 0, 5. Remember, in the coordinates, they're ordered pairs. X comes first, y comes after x. So we have the gradient, we have the intercept. Y is going to be equal to negative 3x plus 5. You don't replace x with negative 3. It's m that's negative 3. So negative 3x plus 5 equals to y is your equation. In case they were talking about parallel lines or straight lines, in parallel lines, your gradient of line 1 equals to the gradient of line 2. So you use the same gradient. And in perpendicular lines, your gradient of line 1 times the gradient of line 2 is equal to negative 1. These are the two conditions you need to know about parallel and perpendicular lines when creating an equation, whether it's a simple question like this or a more complicated question for coordinate geometry. Show by shading on the grid the region defined by all three of the inequalities. X is less than equal to 6, y is greater than equal to 2, and y is less than equal to x plus 1. So x is less than equal to 6, y is greater than equal to 2, and y is greater than equal to x plus 1. So for x less than equal to 6, we draw a line at x equals to 6. Since it's less than equal to, that means we'll draw a solid straight line. If it was x is less than 6, then you would draw a dotted line. Then for the next one, it's y is greater than equal to 2. So you draw a line at y equals to 2. And for the third one, y is less than equal to x plus 1. We'll draw a line that passes through y equals to 1. So this is our line. In case if there's any confusion about sketching a linear equation, what you can do is you can put x equals to 0 first to find the y-intercept, which is y equals to 1, which means one coordinate is 0, 1. And you can put y equals to 0 to find the x-intercept. That's going to give us negative 1. So that's negative 1, 0. However, in our case, the negative axis is not given. We only have the positive axis. So what you can do is you can put any of these x values in the equation to get another coordinate. If we put x equals to 8, let's say, so that's y equals to 8 plus 1, and that's 9. So that means 8, 9 is our coordinate. So if we check our line, this is x equals to 8 and y equals to 9. So this line is correct. Now about the shading part, first inequality is y is less than equal to 6. When it's less than equal to 6, that means we shade the part that's less than 6. So that's over here. Then it says y is greater than equal to 2. If it's greater than equal to 2, that means we shade the part where y is increasing. So that's over here. Then it says y is less than equal to x plus 1. Less than equal to x plus 1 means that we're shading the graph underneath the axis. That means we're shading the graph underneath the line. So that's this part. Once we've done all the shading, what we need to do is we need to see that region where all of the colors are overlapping. So as you can see, all of the colors are overlapping in the middle where we have this triangle. So if I remove all of this is your region R. That's your answer. Then it says here's a shape P drawn on a grid of squares. On the grid, rotate shape P 180 degrees about the point -3, 2, and label the new shape Q. So 180 degrees about the point -3 and 2. -3 and 2 is this point. To understand how the shape would be rotated 180 degrees about the center, -3, 2, let's pick a point on shape P. Now this point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units vertically from the center. Now this will be exactly 7 units vertically from the center, but in this direction. Why? Because if we rotate this shape 90 degrees, it's going to look like this. Then if we again rotate it 90 degrees, it's going to look like this. So we have to make sure that when we are making the 180-degree rotation, its orientation is like this one. So 7 units above is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is where your point comes. Then this point on the shape is 6 units horizontally and 7 vertically from the center. So 7 vertically and 6 horizontally. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's over here. This unit is 3 units away from the pink point. So 1, 2, 3. That's over here. There is also 6 horizontally and 4 vertically. And then lastly, for this point, this is 3 units from the orange one. So 1, 2, 3. That's over here. So now if we connect these points, this is your 180-degree rotation of shape P about the center, -3 and 2. Then it says on the grid, translate shape P by the vector 10, 8. Label the new shape R. So our translation vector is 10, 8. That means we're moving 10 units to the right side and 8 units up. The first value is the x value, so that shows us the translation horizontally, whether we move to the left or right. If the first number is negative, that means we go to the left side. If it's positive, that means we go to the right side. Similarly, for the next value, if it's negative, we move the shape down. If it's positive, we move the shape up. So you pick a point on shape P and it moves 10 units to the right. So from 3, we go to 13 over here and then 8 up. So from -2, we move to 6. So let me move this. So that's our first point. Then this point will be 3 blocks down. So 1, 2, 3. This would be 3 away. So that's over here. This one is going to be 6 away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now if we connect the points, this shows us the translation of shape B by the vector 10, 8. And this will be labeled R. Then it says here are triangle T and triangle U drawn on a grid of squares. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle T onto triangle U. So triangle T onto triangle U, we can clearly see that it's an enlargement. So if we compare similar lengths on both the shapes, we can see that this is 3 and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which means that there has been an enlargement by a scale factor of 2. Now for the center of enlargement, we connect corresponding points on both the shapes And we can clearly see that this is our center of enlargement because they're all going to pass through the same point, all of these lines extended. So that's -3 and 3. So it's an enlargement by scale factor of 2 about the center -3, 3. As you can see, it's for 3 marks, so 1 mark for each point. First mark for writing that it's an enlargement, second mark for writing that the scale factor is 2, and third for the center of enlargement. Then it says Marcus makes a steel framework. The framework is in the shape of the right angle triangle ABC shown in the diagram. The steel that Marcus uses costs $22 per meter. The steel can only be bought in a length that is a whole number of meters. Work out the total cost of the steel that Marcus buys in order to make the framework. So to work out the total cost of the steel, we need to know the total length of the steel being used. And for that, we need to find the perimeter of the triangle. As you can see, we have the length of AB and BC, but we don't have the length of EC. In a right angle triangle, when you have two lengths and a third one is missing, we can use Pythagoras to find it, given that none of the angles are given. So AC squared equals to 4.3 squared plus 6.4 squared. That's going to give us 18.49 plus 40.96. This adds up to 59.45. Now we take the square root on both sides to find the value of AC. That is 7.71 meters. Now total steel length is going to be 7.71 plus 6.4 plus 4.3. That gives us 18.41 meters. Since the question says that steel can only be bought in a length that is a whole number of meters, which means the 18.41 will be rounded to 19 meters. So 19 meters of steel is bought. So now for the total cost, it's going to be 19 times 22, and that gives us $418. So you have to be very careful about what the question states, that if it wasn't saying that we need to buy a whole number of meters, then we could have easily used 18.41. But since it has restricted that the meters needs to be in a whole number, then we round 18.41 to 19, and then we times that by 22. The reason why we're not rounding 18.41 to 18 is because the total steel length that is required for the triangle is 18.41. So we cannot go lower than that. Hence, we round up, which is 19 meters. Then it says use ruler and compasses only to construct the perpendicular bisector of the line AB. You must show all your construction lines. So if you've seen the first version, you must have realized that in that one, I used the angle bisector question. So in this one, I put the perpendicular bisector one in case either of them comes. So for the perpendicular bisector, what you first need to do is you need to measure your line AB. So I'll write the steps over here. Step 1, measure line AB. Then step 2 is you open your compass to more than half the length of AB. Not half, more than half. More than half of the length of AB. So let's say AB is 8 centimeters. So you open your compass to more than 4 centimeters. You can open it to 4.5, you can open it to 5, anything, but it has to be more than half of the distance of AB. Then step 3 is you draw 2 arcs in the length that you've opened. Draw 2 arcs in that length from point A and B. So we will draw arcs. You put the compass over here and draw an arc over here. And then you put the compass over and draw an arc over here. And same thing, you draw an arc beneath the line as well. Once you've done that, you connect the center of the intersection of the 2 arcs. And this line serves as your perpendicular bisector. So this is your perpendicular bisector. To check if your perpendicular bisector is correct or incorrect, we can measure the distance from point A to the line. And if it's half of the line AB, then it's correct. If it's not half, that means you drew your arcs incorrectly. So you need to repeat the steps again. Connect the intersection of the arcs using a straight line. That is your 4th step, and this is how you draw your perpendicular bisector. Then the next question says that AB, BC, CD, DE, and EF are 5 sides of a regular polygon. RST, SCU, and BCV are straight lines. RST is parallel to CD. Angle RSC is 128 degrees. And angle UCV is 32 degrees. Work out how many sides the polygon has and show your working clearly. So if you remember your rules for angles in parallel lines, we know that alternate angles are equal. So if I highlight the 2 parallel lines, this is one line and this is another. If you're someone who doesn't know like how to recognize parallel lines have these arrows drawn on them. These arrows indicate that the lines are parallel. Now we have this transversal passing through the 2 parallel lines, and whenever we have a transversal cutting parallel lines, it means that alternate angles are going to be equal. So if this is 128, this is also 128. Similarly, if we have 2 lines making a cross, that means vertically opposite angles are also equal. So these 2 angles are vertically opposite. So angle BCS will also equal to 32. Now, if you look at angle BCD, we can see that it comprises of 32 and 128, which is basically your interior angle. So your interior angle is 32 plus 128, which equals to 160 degrees. So using the interior angle and the interior angle formula, we can figure out the number of sides. Interior angle formula is n minus 2 times 180 over n, which means 160 equals to n minus 2 times 180 divided by n. Cross multiply 160n equals to 180n minus 2 times 180, which is 360. 360 equals to 180n minus 160n, which is equal to 20n. 360 divided by 20 equals to n, and n equals to 18. So your polygon has 18 sides. So in such type of questions, you need to remember your interior angle formula, sum of interior angle formula, exterior angle formula, sum of exterior angles, and if there are parallel lines, you need to remember your angles and parallel lines properties. What are alternate angles? What are corresponding angles? What are co-interior angles? Vertically opposite angles? All of these properties are very important for such type of questions. Quadratic inequalities. So we have to solve the inequality 4x squared minus 5x minus 6 greater than 0. So when solving a quadratic inequality, as I've said before, treat them as quadratic equations initially. Start with factorizing it like you would with a quadratic equation. So for the factorizing part, you can either use the quadratic formula or you can use the splitting the middle term, whichever method works for you. So if we use the quadratic formula is x equals to negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So the values of a, b, and c are determined from our equation. Quadratic equations come as ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is your coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant. So in our case, a is 4, b is negative 5, and c is negative 6. So once you've identified your a, b, and c values, you substitute them in the formula. So that's minus negative 5 plus minus square root of minus 5 squared minus 4 times negative 6 divided by 2 times 4. So that's 5 plus minus. If we solve the root, that's 4 times 4 times 6, 96 plus 25. That's 121. 121 is a square number, which gives us 11 if we square root it. So now, when we have plus minus over here, what we do is we split it into two different fractions, where one gives us x equals to 5 plus 11 over 8, which is 2, and x equals to 5 minus 11 over 8, which is negative 6 over 8, and that's negative 3 over 4. Now, factors of these quadratic equations are x minus 2 times 4x plus 3. I just rewrote it as factors. When you bring the 2 on the other side, it becomes x minus 2. And when we take negative 3 over 4 to the other side, it becomes 4x plus 3. Now, this is greater than 0. Your answer doesn't end over here. For us to identify what the range of x values are going to be, what we do is we draw a rough sketch of our values. Negative 3 over 4 is going to be over here, and 2 is going to be over here. This is your quadratic equation. If the question states that your inequality is greater than 0, that means we look at the behavior of the x values above the x-axis. However, if it was saying less than 0, we look at the behavior of the x values underneath the x-axis. So what we'll do now is, if we notice at x equals to negative 3 or 4, the values of x are decreasing because they're going towards the left side. And at x equals to, the values of x are increasing. That means they're going towards the right side, which means one range of values for x is greater than 2, and the other is x is less than negative 3 over 4. This is what your final answer will look like. So once again, if it's greater than 0, we look at the behavior of the x values above the x-axis. If it's less than 0, you look at the behavior of the x values underneath the x-axis. And underneath the x-axis, your x values are going to converge, which means it's going to be a joint inequality. Whereas above the x-axis, they're diverging. That's why they're two different inequalities. The next question says that here's a sketch of the curve with the equation y equals to a times cos bx plus c, where X is from -90 to 450. We have to find the value of A, B, and C. So first thing first, let's connect this with a straight line. This shows us the middle of the graph. And the middle of the graph shows how it has been shifted up or down. So this is your new origin basically, or the x-axis in other words. Now A is your amplitude of the graph. B is your 2 pi over the period of the graph. And C is your vertical shift. So amplitude is basically your distance from the x-axis to the highest point. So if we look at that, distance from the x-axis to the highest point is 2 units. So that means A is going to be 2. This is your A value. So now for the value of B, we need to determine what is the period of the graph. So normally in a cosine function, your full wave is between 0 to 360. However, over here, if we go from 0 to 360, we can see that we have 1, 2, and 3 complete waves. If I color code this is your 1 wave, this is the second wave, and this is your third wave. So 1, 2, 3, 3 waves between 0 to 360. B value is going to be 3 because from 0 to 360, we're making 3 complete waves. For the value of C, as we know that the amplitude is 2, but your maximum point is shown at 3, which means the graph has shifted 1 unit up. Hence, the value of C is going to be 1. So based on this, our equation is going to be y equals to 2 cos of 3x plus 1. 2, which is the amplitude, is the distance from your x-axis, which is the middle of the graph, to the maximum point of the graph. B, which is your 2 pi divided by period, is basically the number of times you're making one complete wave from 0 to 360. So from 0 to 360, we can see that we can make, from 0 to 360, we can see that we can make 3 complete waves. And C, which is your vertical shift, that shows how much the graph has moved. Since the amplitude is 2, that means that it should have been at 2 over here, not at 3. But since it's at 3, that means the graph has shifted 1 unit up. Then it says express 4x squared minus 25 over 5x squared plus 2x minus 7 times 2 over x minus 3 minus 3 over 2x minus 5 as a single fraction in its simplest form. So we have to first factorize the first fraction and then solve the second fraction. We have multiplication and subtraction happening in this algebraic fraction question. So for the first one, what we will do is we'll factorize the numerator and denominator. For the numerator, we can see we have 2 perfect squares being subtracted, which means we'll use difference of perfect squares over here. And for the denominator, we'll just factorize the quadratic equation using the quadratic formula or splitting the middle term. So let's start with the numerator. 4x squared minus 25 can be rewritten as 2x minus 5 times 2x plus 5. According to difference of perfect squares, a squared minus b squared equals to a minus b times a plus b. So 4x squared minus 25 is the same as 2x minus 5 times 2x plus 5. Now for the denominator, we can factorize 5x squared plus 2x minus 7. So 5 times 7 is 35. Factors of 35 are 35 and 1 and 5 and 7. So we can replace 2x with 7x minus 5x. Everything else comes as it is. And over here, whenever we have fractions with unlike denominators being subtracted, we make the denominators equal by multiplying the first fraction by the second denominator and this first fraction by multiplying the first fraction by the second denominator and the second fraction by the first denominator. That means we do 2 times 2x minus 5 over 2x minus 5 times x minus 3 minus 3 times x minus 3 over 2x minus 5 x minus 3. So 2x minus 5 times 2x plus 5 over, between 5x squared and 7x we have x common, so 5x plus 7, and between 5x and 7 over here we have negative 1 common, so again 5x plus 7 comes in the bracket, and over here we expand the bracket, so that's 4x minus 10 minus 3x plus 9. Remember, the negative sign gets distributed with x and negative 3. So it's negative 3 times x and negative 3 times negative 3. And 2x minus 5 times x minus 3 comes as it is as a single denominator. So now 2x minus 5 times 2x plus 5 over 5x plus 7 is common between x and negative 1. So 5x plus 7 bracket x minus 1 times, combine the like terms, 4x minus 3x is x, negative 10 plus 9 is negative 10 plus 9 is negative 1 over 2x minus 5 times x minus 3. Now when we have two fractions being multiplied, we can simplify it vertically and diagonally. Diagonally, if you notice, we have 2x minus 5 over here and here, x minus 1 over here and here, and we cannot further simplify anything else. So it's 2x plus 5 divided by 5x plus 7 times x minus 3. This is your single fraction in its simplest form. So two important rules you need to remember: difference of perfect squares, then factorizing a quadratic equation, and apart from that, how to combine fractions with unlike denominators when they're being added or subtracted. The answers show that 2 root 3 over root 3 minus 1 can be written in the form a plus root a, where a is an integer. Show your working clearly. So for this, remember, you will multiply and divide the fraction by this denominator, but with a different sign in the middle. So if it's root 3 minus 1, you multiply and divide it by root 3 plus 1. If it was root 3 plus 1, then you'd multiply and divide by root 3 minus 1. So this is the main step. Once you've done that, multiply the denominator with the denominator and numerator with the numerator. So root 3 minus 1 times root 3 plus 1. Just like we did in the previous question, you must notice that this is also similar to difference of perfect squares, where it's a minus b times a plus b, which equals to a square minus b square. This rule will always be applied to the denominator to make your calculation easier. If you want to expand the bracket, that is also fine. If you want to save time, you can just convert it to difference of perfect square form, where you can rewrite this as root 3 whole square minus 1 square. Now, square of a root is the number itself, so that's 2 times 3 over here. So that's also 3 minus 1. That's 6 plus 2 root 3 over 2. And that gives us 3 plus root 3. And as you can see, it was a plus root a, which means a equals to 3. And that is your final answer. Then it says Sierra throws 4 fair 6-sided dice. The faces of each dice are labeled with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Work out the probability that at least one of the dice lands on an even number. So the probability of getting an even number is going to be 3 over 6, which simplifies to 1 over 2. And the probability of getting an odd number is also going to be 1 over 2. Now she's throwing 4 pair 6-sided dice. We need to work out the probability that at least one of the dice lands on an even number. So what if we do this? If we find the probability of an odd number on all 4 throws, that's going to be 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 times 1 over 2 and times 1 over 2, which is basically 1 over 16. So the probability of getting it even on all 4 throws at least once, shouldn't that be 1 minus 1 over 16, which is 15 over 16? That's your answer. Alternative method is that you find the different combinations in which she can get an even number. She can get all even, then 3 even, 1 odd, 2 even, 1 odd, 1 even, 3 odd. And all those would have 4 different possibilities because we're throwing 4 dices. We don't know which one is giving which number when. But that's going to be extremely lengthy. So to save time, what you can do is you can easily find the probability of getting an odd number on all 4 throws. And when you subtract that from 1, that gives the probability of getting an even number at least once. Then for circle theorems, it says that A, B, C, D, and E are points on a circle. Angle EAC is 40 degrees. Write on the sides of angle EBC. So for EBC, that's this angle. If you notice, CE can be turned into a chord. And as we know, angles in the same chord are equal. So angle A and B are coming from the same chord, which is CE. Hence, angle B is also going to be 40 degrees. Then it says give a reason for your answer. So angles in the same chord or segment are equal. Then it says find the size of the angle EDC. So EDC is this angle. So for this, you need to realize that if we highlight the quadrilateral ACDE, we can see that's a cyclic quadrilateral. In a cyclic quadrilateral, all the vertices are touching the circumference. Point A, C, D, all 4 are touching the circumference, which means opposite angles can add up to 180. Hence, angle EDC would be 180 minus 40, and that's 140 degrees. That's your answer. Question 15 says, given that A equals to 3 to the power of x, B equals to 3 to the power of y, express in terms of A or B or A and B, 3 to the power of 2x. So for 3 to the power of 2x, if we notice, it's basically 3 to the power of x whole power 2. And we know 3 to the power of x is A, so it's A square. Then 3 to the power of x plus 4y. For that, we can split it into 3 to the power of x times 3 to the power of 4y. Why did we split it? Because if you remember the rules of indices, when you're multiplying similar bases, we can add the powers. So we're going reverse. We're bringing it back into its base form. So now 3 to the power of x we know is a. And for 3 to the power of 4y, if we rewrite it as 3 to the power of y whole power 4, we can see that it's a times b to the power of 4. So a b to the power of 4 is your answer. Then 3 to the power of y minus 1. So split it into 3 to the power of y times 3 to the power of negative 1. 3 to the power of y is b, and 3 to the power of negative 1 can be written as 1 over 3. So b over 3 is your answer for this one. Then it says a equals to 3 to the power of x and b equals to 3 to the power of y. A times b is 2,187. A squared times b is 177,147. We have to find the value of x and y. So a times b is 3 to the power of x times 3 to the power of y equals to 2,187. Whenever they give you such a question, always remember that you need to convert the other term into the base of 3 as well. And remember, it's always possible to do it. They will never give you a number that cannot be converted into the base given in the question. So what we do is we keep on dividing 2,187 by 3 until we reach 1. So 2,187 is the same as 3 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To the power of 7. So you can rewrite this as 3 to the power of x plus y. We combine the powers because bases are similar, equals to 3 to the power of 7. Since we have similar bases on both sides, we can put the powers equal to each other, and x plus y equals to 7 is our first equation. Now we will create another equation using a squared b equals to 177,147. So a squared is going to be 3 to the power of x whole square times b, which is 3 to the power of y, equals to 177,147. So 177,147 can be rewritten as the base of 3. Let's figure out the powers. So 177,147 divided by 3. Let's keep on dividing it until we reach 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 3 to the power of 11. So 3 to the power of 2x plus y equals to 3 to the power of 11. We first multiply 2 with x and then add the powers because the bases are same and being multiplied. So 2x plus y equals to 11. This is your second equation. As you can see, we have two equations with the variable x and y. So we can solve them simultaneously to find the value. So x plus y equals to 7. 2x plus y equals to 11. If we subtract the two equations, x minus 2x is negative x, y minus y is 0. 7 minus 11 is negative 4. So x equals to positive 4. And for y, 4 plus y equals to 7, which means y equals to 3. So when x equals to 4, y equals to 3, and that is your final answer. Then it says some students in a school were asked the following question: do you have a dog, a cat, or a rabbit? Of these students, 28 have a dog, 18 have a cat, 20 have a rabbit, 8 have both a cat and a rabbit, 9 have both a dog and a rabbit, X have both a dog and a cat, 6 have a dog, a cat, and a rabbit, and 5 have not got a dog, a cat, or a rabbit. Using this information, complete the Venn diagram to show the number of students in each appropriate subset. Give the numbers in terms of x where necessary. So 5 have not got a dog or a cat or a rabbit, so that's outside. 6 have a dog, cat, and a rabbit, so that's right in the middle. It's the intersection of the three sets. X have both a dog and a cat. So both dog and a cat is all of this, which means this entire shaded part is X. So this above is going to be X minus 6 because 6 is already given. So X minus 6 is the part that's just for dog and cat without any rabbit. The 9 have both a dog and a rabbit. So same concept over here. 9 are both dog and a rabbit. So all of this is 9, which means this is going to be 3 because 6 is already given. So this is 3. Then 8 have both a cat and a rabbit. So that's going to be 2 over here. 20 have a rabbit. So 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So if the total for rabbit is 20, this is going to be 9. Then it says that 18 have a cat. So 18 is this complete set. So 18 equals to x minus 6 plus 6 plus 2, and it's called this z plus z. So you need to find what z is equal to. So 18 equals to x plus 2 because 6 minus 6 is 0. 18 minus x minus 2 equals to z, and that's 16 minus x. So this is going to be 16 minus x. Similarly, 28 have a dog, so same concept over here. Let's call this y. 28 equals to x minus 6 plus 6 plus 3 plus y. So that's 28 equals to x plus 3 plus y. 28 minus 3 minus x is y. And that's 25 minus x equals to y. So this is 25 minus x. This is our Venn diagram where some of the terms are in terms of x. Then it says, given that a total of 50 students answer the questions, work out the value of x. So in total, we have 50 students over here. If we add all of these up, they should equal to 50. So 50 equals to 25 minus x plus x minus 6 plus 16 minus x plus 3 plus 6 plus 2 plus 9 plus 5. So that equals to 60 minus x. So x is going to be 60 minus 50, which is equal to 10, which means over here we have 15. Here it's going to be 4, and here it's going to be 6. Then it says find the number of C complement intersection D complement. So C complement intersection D complement is going to be this and this. Everything that's outside of C and D. So that's 9 and 5. So that adds up to 14. That is your final answer. Then it says that L1 and L2 are two straight lines. The origin of the coordinate axis is O. L1 has equation 5x plus 10y equals to 8. L2 is perpendicular to L1 and passes to the point with coordinates 8 and 6. L2 crosses the x-axis at the point A. L2 intersects the straight line with the equation x equals to -3 at the point B. We have to find the area of triangle AOB. So L1 and L2 are perpendicular. Let's talk about that first. So if two lines are perpendicular, that means the product of the gradients will equal to -1. So using this rule, we can figure out what the gradient is going to be for L2 because we have an equation for L1 and we can easily find its gradient using that line. So 5x plus 10y equals to 8. Let's convert this into slope-intercept form. 10y equals to -5x plus 8. Y equals to -5x over 10 plus 8 over 10, which is y equals to -x over 2 plus 4 over 5, which means m1 is going to be -1 over 2. Let's highlight that first. Now, if m1 is -2, m1 times m2 equals to -1. -1 over 2 times m2 is -1, which means m2 is +2. For L2, it says it is perpendicular to L1, and using that, we figured out the gradient. L2 passes through the point with the coordinates 8, 6. So using this point and gradient, we can find the equation of L2. Y equals to mx plus c. Substitute y as 6, m as 2, and x as 8. C is the only unknown. We find its value, which turns out to be -10. So now our equation is going to be y equals to 2x minus 10. Now after this, it said that L2 crosses the x-axis at the point A. So if it's crossing the x-axis at the point A, that means y value is going to be 0. So using this, we can find the coordinates of A. So put y equals to 0. 0 equals to 2x minus 10. 10 equals to 2x. X equals to 5, which means A is going to be 5, 0. Now after this, it's saying that L2 intersects the line with the equation x equals to -3 at the point B. So now we put x equals to -3 in the L2 equation to find the y coordinate of B. So y equals to 2 times -3 minus 10, which is y equals to -6 minus 10, and that is -60. So B is -3 and -60. Next, it said find the area of the triangle AOB. So we have the coordinates of A, we have the coordinates of B, we know O is the origin. So using this, we need to figure out the area of triangle AOB. So we know that the origin is 0, 0, and they want us to find the area of triangle AOB. So let's do a rough sketch. So this is our O. 5, 0 is going to be, let's say over here, this is point A. Point B is -3 and -16. So let's say that's over here. So if we connect the points, we can say that this is our base. So this is your height of the triangle, and the base has already been identified. So as you can see, the y coordinate was 16 for B, and the x coordinate is 5. So area is going to be 1 over 2 times the base, which is 5, and height, which is 16. That's going to be 5 times 8, and that's 40 units square. That's your answer. Let's say the point A is the only stationary point on the curve with the equation y equals to kx squared plus 16 over x, where k is a constant. Given that the coordinates of A are 2 or 3a, find the value of A, show your working clearly. So for this, whenever they mention the word stationary point with the curve, that means you have to differentiate your equation, put it equal to 0, and then find the value of those stationary points. Over here, we have two unknowns, K and A. So to find the value of A, first we need to figure out the value of K. So let's begin with differentiating kx squared plus 16 over x. One advice I have for you is when you have a fraction and the variable is in the denominator, bring the variable in the numerator and get rid of the fraction. So 16 over x can be rewritten as 16 times x to the power of -1. Whenever you move a term from the denominator to the numerator or vice versa, the sign of the power changes. If it's positive, it becomes negative. So now when we differentiate this, dy by dx is going to equal to 2 times k x to the power of 2 minus 1. When you differentiate an equation, for each term you bring the power down and subtract 1 from the power. When you bring the power down, it gets multiplied with the term. So where it's going to be 16 times -1 times x to the power of -1 minus 1. So that's 2kx minus 16 times x to the power of -2, which can be rewritten as 2kx minus 16 over x squared. So since it said stationary point is your turning point. At the turning point, your dy by dx always equals to 0. So we put dy by dx equal to 0 over here and find the value of k. But there's also another unknown, which is x. Going back to the equation, it said that point A is the only stationary point, which means if we put x equals to 2 over 3 over here, we can easily find the value of k. So 2k times 2 over 3 minus 16 divided by 2 over 3 whole square. So 0 equals to 4k over 3 minus 16 times 9 over 4. 4k over 3 minus 36. 36 equals to 4k over 3. And 36 times 3 over 4 is k, which is 27. Now we substitute 27 back into the equation of the curve. Y equals to 27 x squared plus 16 over x. A was 2 over 3 and y was, for A, x was 2 over 3 and y was A. So A equals to 27 times 2 over 3 squared plus 16 over 2 over 3. That gives us a value of 36. So A equals to 36 is your final answer. Now for simultaneous equations, already got a quadratic simultaneous equation paper 1. That means for paper 2, it's going to be a linear simultaneous equation. So for this, you can either use the elimination method or the substitution method. It's best to go with elimination because that's easier and less time consuming. We know that we have 3x plus 5y equals to 6 and 7x minus 5y equals to -11. So in elimination method, what we do is we first decide which variable we want to eliminate. And once we've decided that, we see if the coefficients of that variable are same in both the equations. As you can see, y has the same coefficient in both the equations, which means we can eliminate y easily. Once we have decided the variable we want to eliminate and made the coefficients equal, next step is to see if the signs are the same or not. As you can see in this case, both 5y have opposite signs, which means to get rid of the 5y, we need to add both the equations. Because if we subtract them, 5y would still be over here. So we'll do 3x plus 5y equals to 6 plus 7x minus 5y equals to -11. 3x plus 7x is 10x. 5y plus minus 5y is 0. 6 minus 11 is negative 5. 10x equals to negative 5, which means x is going to be negative 5 over 10, which is negative 1 over 2. Once we have the x value, we can substitute the x value into either of the equations to get the y value. So 3 times negative 1 over 2 plus 5y equals to 6. Negative 3 over 2 plus 5y equals to 6. 5y equals to 6 plus 3 over 2, which is going to be 12 plus 3 over 2. 5y equals to 15 over 2. And y is going to be 15 over 2 times 1 over 5, which is 3 over 2. So when x is negative 1 over 2, y is 3 over 2, and that is your final answer. Then says the curve with the equation x squared minus x plus y squared equals to 10, and the straight line with the equation x minus y equals to negative 4 intersect at the points A and B. Work out the exact length of AB. Show your working clearly. Give your answer in the form of root A over 2, where A is an integer. So if the curve and the line are intersecting, that means they have points in common, which are point A and B. So to figure out the value of those 2 points, we can solve these 2 equations simultaneously. And whenever we have a quadratic and a linear equation, and we have to solve them simultaneously, the best way to do it is to use the substitution method. So what we can do is we can make y the subject in the second equation, the linear one, and substitute in the curve equation, and then make everything in terms of x, because that's going to be easier. So x minus y equals to negative 4. X plus 4 equals to y. So we substitute the third equation in the curve. So that's going to be x squared minus x plus 4 whole square equals to 10. So that x squared minus x, expand the bracket, x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals to 10. Combine the like terms, so 2x squared plus 7x plus 16 minus 10, and 2x squared plus 7x plus 6 equals to 0. Now we have to factorize this quadratic equation. If we use splitting the middle term, 2 times 6 is 12. Factors of 12 are 3 and 4, 12 and 1, and 6 and 2. We know 3 plus 4 is 7, so we can replace 7x with 4x plus 3x, and everything else comes as it is. Now factor by grouping, we split the equation into 2 groups. The first 2 terms make one group, and the last 2 terms make another group. Between the first 2 terms, we have 2x common, so x plus 2 comes in the bracket. And between the last 2 terms, we have 3 common, so again x plus 2 comes in the bracket. So between 2x and 3, we have x plus 2 common, so x plus 2 bracket 2x plus 3 equals to 0. One value of x is negative 2 and the other is negative 3 over 2. Now to find the corresponding y values, you put this into the third equation. So at x equals to negative 2, we have y equals to negative 2 plus 4. That's positive 2. And at x equals to negative 3 over 2, we have y equals to negative 3 over 2 plus 4. And that's negative 3 plus 8, which is 5 over 2. Which means point A can be negative 2, 2, and point B can be negative 3 over 2 and 5 over 2. Now we have to work out the exact length of AB. So for that, we use the distance formula, which is root of y2 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square. So 5 over 2 minus 2 whole square plus negative 3 over 2 minus negative 2 whole square. So that's going to be 5 minus 4 over 4 squared plus minus 3 plus 4 over 2 squared. So that's 1 over, this is 2 over here. 1 over 2 whole squared plus 1 over 2 whole squared. That's 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4, which is 2 over 4. And that's root of 2 over 2. And that's your final answer. In question 21, it says the histogram gives information about the times and minutes some customers had to wait to be served in a restaurant. 14 customers had to wait less than 10 minutes to be served. Work out the number of customers who had to wait less than 60 minutes to be served. So basically, all of the customers are in the histogram. So for less than 10 minutes, that's basically this interval, the first bar. So we have 14 customers over here. So frequency density has the formula of frequency over class width. Class width is your difference between the intervals of the bar. So using the first bar, we know that the frequency is 14 and the class width is 10. So frequency density is 1.4, which means over here, this is 1.4. So if this is 1.4, that means over here, this was 1. This is going to be 2. This is 3. This is 4. And this is 5. So by using just one value, we can figure out the scale of the y-axis. Now to figure out the frequency for the other bars, we can see that this has a frequency density of 3.2. This is 3.6. This is going to be 0.6 and this one is 0.2. So for the frequency of the second bar, that's going to be 3.2 times 15 because your class interval is between 10 to 25, that's 15. That's going to give us 48. Then for the other one, it's going to be 3.6 times 5, which equals 18. Then it's 0.6 times 10, which is 60. Then it's 0.2 times 20, which is going to be 4. So for the number of customers who had to wait less than 60 minutes to be served, we add all of these up. 48 over here, 18 over here, 60 over here, 6 over here, sorry, this is 6. 6 over here and 4 over here. So that's going to be 14 plus 48 plus 6 plus 4 plus 18. Yeah. So that's going to be 90 customers. That's your answer. Then it says express 7 minus 12x minus 2x squared in the form of a plus b bracket x plus c whole square, where a, b, and c are integers. Hence, find the inverse of this function. So this is completing square. And for completing square, first let's rearrange the equation starting with the highest power of x. So negative 2x squared, then negative 12x, and then plus 7. First step is to make sure that the coefficient of x squared is 1. Right now, the quotient of x squared is negative 2. So to make it 1, we take negative 2 common from the entire equation. That's going to give us x squared plus 6x minus 7 over 2. That's the first step. After that, you need to remember that you have to complete this square. So a complete square looks like a plus b whole square, which expands to a square plus 2ab plus b square. A square is your x square and 2ab is your 6x. So x is a, so 2xb equal to 6x and b equals to 6x over 2x. So b equals to 3. which means to complete the square, we'll do -2 times x squared plus 6x, and then we write plus 3 squared and minus 3 squared as well. -702 comes as it is. The reason why we wrote minus 3 squared as well, because when you're adding something new into the equation, you're supposed to subtract it as well. We're adding 3 squared, so we subtract 3 squared as well. So that's -2 bracket x plus 3 whole square. That's the complete square. Then -9 minus 7 over 2. That's going to be -18 minus 7 over 2. That's -25 over 2. So then you multiply the -2 with the bracket in the fraction. So that's -2 times x plus 3 squared and plus 25. So A is 25, B is -2, and C is 3. This is your final answer. Then it says OAB is a triangle. Vector OA is A, vector OB is B. C is the midpoint of OA. D is the point on AB such that AD is to DB is 3:1. E is the point such that OB equals to 2 times BE. Using a vector method, prove that the points CD and E lie on the same straight line. So if C is the midpoint of OA, which means OC is going to be A over 2, and CA is also going to be A over 2. D is the point on AB such that AD is to DB is 3:1. So AD is going to be 3/4 of AB, and DB is going to be 1/4 of AB. Since we can find vector AB, that's going to be B minus A, which means AD is going to be 3/4 of B minus A, and DB is going to be 1/4 of B minus A. If we draw a rough representation of the triangle OAB, this is OA, this is OB, and AB is B minus A. C is the midpoint of OA, so let's say this is C. Let's write A over. D is the point on AB such that AD is to DB is 3:1. So 3:1. This is D. Now E is the point such that OB is twice of BE. So that means if we extend this, if this is B, this is going to be 2B. Use a vector method to prove that the points CDE lie on the same straight line. So this is the same straight line. OB is twice of BE. That means BE is going to be B over 2. So OE is going to be B plus B over 2, which is 3B over 2. To prove that CDE lie on the same straight line, what we can do is we can find the line CE, the vector for that, and then we can find the vector DE or CD, and then use that to show that all 3 points lie on the same straight line. So let's begin with finding CE. CE is going to be CO plus OE. CO is going to be negative A over 2 and OE is 3B over 2. Now for CD, CD is going to be CO plus OB plus BD. CO is negative A over 2. OB is B and BD is going to be negative 1 over 4 times B minus A. So that's negative A over 2 plus B minus B plus A over 4. That simplifies to 4 over negative 2A plus 4B minus B plus A. That's negative A plus 3B. So that's CD. So CE is negative A plus 3B over 2 and CD is negative A plus 3B over 4. So basically CD is half of negative A plus 3B over 2. It's half of CE. So that clearly shows that CD lies on CE and all 3 points lie on the same straight line because CD is half of CE. Then it says a mathematics teacher at a school asked a group of students how far in kilometers each student had traveled to get to school that day. The table gives information about their answers. The teacher calculated that the estimate for the mean distance traveled by the whole group of students was 4.25 kilometers. We have to work out the value of x. So for estimated mean, first we need to find the midpoint of the intervals given. Midpoint. So midpoint of 0 and 2 is 1. 2 and 4 has a midpoint of 3. 4 and 6 has a midpoint of 5. 6 and 8 has a midpoint of 7. And 8 and 10 has a midpoint of 9. After that, we multiply the frequency values with the x values to find fx. So that's going to be x 33, 40, 42, and 45. So this is going to be added up to give us the numerator. So 4.25 equals to x plus 33 plus 40 plus 42 plus 45. And that's divided by the total frequency, which is x plus 11 plus 8 plus 6 plus 5. So that's 4.25 times x plus 30, and that's x plus 160. So 4.25x plus 30 times 4.25, 127.5 equals to x plus 160. Collect the like terms on each side. 4.25x minus x equals to 160 minus 127.5. That's 3.25x equals to 32.5. So x is going to be 32.5 divided by 3.25, and that is going to give us 10. So 10 is the frequency for the interval 0 to 2. Then says the diagram shows a box in the shape of a cuboid. The box is put on a table. The face of the box in contact with the table has length 1.2 meters and width x meters. The force exerted by the box on the table is 27 newtons. The pressure on the table due to the box is 30 newtons per meter square. Work out the value of x. So they've already given the formula for pressure, which is force over area. And we can find the area, which is 1.2 times x. That's 1.2x. Pressure is 30. 30 equals to the force, which is 27, divided by 1.2x. 1.2x equals to 27 over 30, which gives us a value of 0.9. X is going to be 0.9 divided by 1.2, which is equal to 0.75 meters. That is the value of x. Then it says make x the subject of y equals to cube root of 6 plus 5x over x plus 4. So first we get rid of the cube root sign, and that is only possible if we take the cube on both sides. So cube, that's y cube equals to 6 plus 5x over x plus 4. Now we cross multiply to get rid of the fraction. Y cube times x plus 4 equals to 6 plus 5x, which is xy cube plus 4y cube equal to 6 plus 5x. Since we have to make x the subject, so we collect all of the terms with x on one side. So xy cube minus 5x equals to 6 minus 4y cube. X common, y cube minus 5 equal to 6 minus 4y cube. X equal to 6 minus 4y cube over y cube minus 5. That is the value of x in terms of y. Then for upper bound and lower bound, it says P equals to E times F. E is 4.8 correct to two significant figures. F is 0.26 correct to two significant figures. Work out the lower bound for the value of P. So for lower bound of value of P, we will find the lower bound of E and lower bound of F. So for that, for E, it's 4.8 correct to two significant figures. Second significant figure is 8. Place value of 8 is 0.1. So we do 0.1 divided by 2, which is 0.05. So for lower bound, we will subtract 4.8 and 0.05, which is equal to 4.75. Similarly, for F, our second significant term is 6. Place value of 6 is 0.01. So 0.01 divided by 2, that's 0.005. So for lower bound, it's going to be 0.26 minus 0.005, which is 0.255. Now for the lower bound of P, we will multiply 4.75 with 0.255, which gives us 1.21 correct to three significant figures. Then for part B, it's Q equals to T over W, and we have to work out the upper bound. So for upper bound, we find the upper bound of T and lower bound of W. That would give us the upper bound of Q. If it was the lower bound of Q, you would divide the lower bound of T by the upper bound of W. So for upper bound of T, same thing. It's correct to three significant figures. So the place value of the third significant figure is 0.01. So 0.01 divided by 2 is 0.005. So for upper bound of T, we will do 2.73 plus 0.05, which is 2.735. Then for W, it's correct to one significant figure. The place value of the first significant figure is 0.01 as well. So 0.01 divided by 2, that's 0.005. And for lower bound, we'll do 0.04 minus 0.005, which is 0.035. For Q, it's 2.735 divided by 0.035, which gives us 78, correct to two significant figures. That is your answer. Then for volume and surface area, it says the diagram shows a frustum of a cone and a sphere. The frustum shown shaded in the diagram is made by removing the small cone from the large one. Small cone and the large cone are similar. The height of the small cone is 8 centimeters and the radius of the base of the small cone is r centimeters. The height of the large cone is k 8 centimeters and the radius of the base of the large cone is k r centimeters. The radius of the sphere is r centimeters. The sphere is divided into two hemispheres, each of radius r centimeters. Solid A is formed by joining one of the hemispheres to the frustum. The plane face of the hemisphere coincides with the upper plane face of the frustum, as shown in the diagram below. Solid B is formed by joining the other hemisphere to the small cone that was removed from the large cone, and the plane face of the hemisphere coincides with the plane face of the base of the small cone, as shown in the diagram below. The volume of solid A is 6 times the volume of solid B. Given that K is greater than cube root of 7, find an expression for H in terms of K and R. So we need to find the volume of solid A and solid B first. So for solid A, we need the volume of the frustum and we need the volume of the hemisphere. For the volume of the frustum, we need to subtract the volume of the larger cone from the volume of the smaller cone. And for solid B, we add the volume of the small cone to the hemisphere. So first, let's begin with finding the volume of the small cone and the large cone. So small cone is going to be 1 over 3 pi r square h, and large cone is going to be 1 over 3 pi k r square times kh. So that's 1 over 3 pi k square r square times k times h, which is 1 over 3 pi k cube r square h. Now, when we subtract the two, we get the volume of the frustum. So let's scroll down. So volume of frustum is going to be 1 over 3 pi k cube r square h minus 1 over 3 pi r square h. So 1 over 3 pi r square h can be taken common. So that leaves us with k cube minus 1 in the bracket. Now for the volume of hemisphere, we do 2 over 3 pi r cube. So volume of A is going to be 1 over 3 pi r square h times k cube minus 1 plus 2 over 3 pi r cube. Volume of B is going to be 1 over 3 pi r square h plus 2 over 3 pi r cube. Now we make another equation where volume A is equal to 6 times of volume B. So 1 over 3 pi r square h times k cube minus 1 plus 2 over 3 pi r cube equals to 6 times 1 over 3 pi r square h plus 2 over 3 pi r cube. Let's separate this. So we can take 1 over 3 pi r square common. So that's h times k cube minus 1 plus 2r over here. And again, take 1 over 3 pi r square common. So that leaves us with h plus 2r. 6 divided by 3 is 2. We can cancel out the pi r square on both sides. So it's 1 over 3 times h k cube minus h plus 2r equals to 2 times h plus 2r. h k cube minus h plus 2r times 3 times 2 times h plus 2r. Expand the bracket over here. So that's 6h plus 3 times 2, 6, 6 times 2, 12r over here. Since we're trying to make h the subject, so let's collect the terms with h on one side. So hk cube minus h minus 6h equals to 12r minus 2r. That's hk cube minus 7h equals to 10r. Take h common. That's k cube minus 7 equals to 10r. And h equals to 10r over k cube minus 7. That is the expression for h in terms of k and r. Then it says two particles P and Q move along a straight line. The fixed point O lies on this line. The displacement of P from O at time t seconds is s meters, where s is t cubed minus 4t squared plus 5t for t greater than 1. The displacement of Q from O at time t seconds is x meters, where x is t squared minus 4t plus 4 for t greater than 1. Find the range of values of t when t is greater than 1, for which both particles are moving in the same direction along the straight line. So to determine the direction, what we need to do is we need to differentiate our displacement. And when you differentiate the displacement, that gives you the velocity. So our velocity time graph will help us in determining during which time interval they are moving in the same direction. So we begin with differentiating the displacement equation for t. So ds over dt is going to be 3t squared minus 8t plus 5. Similarly, for dx over dt for particle q, it's going to be 2t minus 4. These are your velocity equations for particle p and q. Now, to understand what the direction will be, we put the derivatives equal to 0 because that's what will help us in finding the range of values for t. So for 0 equals to 3t squared minus 8t plus 5, if we solve this quadratic equation, we use the quadratic formula. T equals to negative 8 plus minus root of negative 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5 divided by 2 times 3. That's 8 plus minus 8 square is 64. 4 times 3 times 5 is 60. So 64 minus 60 is 4 over 6 over here. That's going to be 8 plus minus 2 over 6. So one value of t is 8 plus 2 over 6, which is 10 over 6, which gives us 5 over 3. And the other is going to be 8 minus 2 over 6, which is 6 over 6, and that is 1. Similarly, we put dx over dt equal to 0 as well. So 0 equals to 2t minus 4. 4 equals to 2t, and 2 is the value of t over here. Now, to understand at which point is the direction going to be the same, we draw a rough sketch for the velocity function for both particle P and Q. So particle P, the velocity time graph will be crossing the x-axis, the t-axis over here, at t equals to 5 over 3 and t equals to 1. So 5 over 3 is basically equal to 1.67. So if this is 1, this is 5 over 3. So this is your velocity time graph for particle P. Then we have a linear equation which is crossing the x-axis at 2 and the y-axis at -4. This is crossing at 5. It's -4. This over here is 2. So to determine during which time interval both the particles are moving in the same direction along the straight line, if we look at the behavior between x equals to 1 and x equals to 5 over 3, we can see that both of them are increasing. They're going towards the right side. Then at t equals to 2, they're both increasing again when the value of t is increasing. So if I draw a line over here, this is also showing same direction. So once again, if you look at the behavior starting from the negative x-axis, the negative t-axis in this case, over here, v was decreasing. Over here, v is increasing. Then v is decreasing from 0 to 1, whereas it's increasing. If I draw a line over here, this, and this. Okay. So from 0 to 1, particle P is decreasing in speed, whereas particle T is increasing in speed. So they're going in opposite directions. For them to have the same directions, the direction of the graph needs to be also showing the same trend. Whereas over here, now it's showing an increasing trend again. It decreases and then increases, whereas over here it's increasing as well. So they're both in the same direction. Next is t equals to 2. And over here at t equals to 2, as we're increasing the t values, both the graphs are going in the same direction. They're also increasing, which means for the answer, it's t greater than 2 and t is less than 5 over 3, but greater than 1. This is your final answer. So in this case, your velocity function helps in determining whether they're going in the same direction or not. Then the next question says the diagram shows a quadrilateral ABCD. The angle BCD is acute, given that the area of triangle BCD is 405 centimeters square. Work out the size of angle ABD. Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So area of triangle BCD is given. So we can use that and find this angle first. So area equals to 1 over 2 A times B sine of angle C. This formula is given in the formula sheet. So this formula is applicable when you have two lengths and the angle between them. We have the two lengths, we have the area, we can find the angle using that. So 1 over 2 times 36 times 45 times sine of angle C. So that's going to be 36 times 45 divided by 2, 810. So 405 divided by 810. Then sine inverse of that equals to angle C. So 405 divided by 810 sine inverse, that is 30 degrees. So C equals to 30. We have to work out the size of angle ABD, this angle. And they're saying BCD is acute, so that is acute over here. So what we can do next is to find the angle for angle B, ABD. we need the third length. So to find the third length, we can apply cosine rule to triangle BCD, because cosine rule is also applicable when you have two lengths and the angle between them. And in that case, you can use the cosine rule to find the third length. So BD squared equals to 36 squared plus 45 squared minus 2 times 36 times 45 times cos 30. That's going to give us 515.077. Then we square root both sides, and BD is going to be 22.69 centimeters. Now, using this, we're going to find the angle, and for this we have all three lengths. So once again, we can use cosine rule to find angle B. So 22.69 over here. We can do cos of angle B equals to 19 squared plus 22.69 squared minus 28 squared divided by 2 times 19 times 28. We're using the same cosine rule that we use for the length, but we rearrange it to make cos theta the subject. So that's going to be 0.086312, and then we find cos inverse of that, which gives us, I'm getting 85.0. I probably overestimated somewhere, maybe with the length of BD, because in the marking scheme it says 83.9. So I probably overestimated somewhere, but like the steps are still correct. And this is how you would find the size of the angle ABD. Then since the shaded shape is made using three identical right angle triangles in a square, work out the perimeter of the shaded shape. So we have three identical right angle triangles in a square. So the hypotenuse is given as 16. This total length is 12.8. So if we draw the right angle triangle separately, this is 16, this is 12.8. So we can find this length, which is also the length of the square, using Pythagoras. 16 squared minus 12.8 squared equals to x squared. This is x. So that's going to be 92.16 equals to x squared. Then we take the square root on both sides. That's 9.6 centimeters. That's x. So this is 9.6. This is 9.6. For this length over here, this is also 9.6. So this is going to be 12.8 minus 9.6, which is going to be 3.2. So perimeter is 3.2 plus 16 plus 9.6 plus 9.6 plus 16 again plus 16. And that is going to give us 70.4 centimeters. That is the perimeter of the shaded shape. Then it says 5 children are playing on a trampoline. The mean weight of the 5 children is 28 kg. 2 of the children get off the trampoline. The mean weight of these 2 children is 26.5 kgs. Work out the mean weight of the 3 children who remain on the trampoline. So first, let's begin and find the sum of the weight of the 5 children. So sum of the weight of 5 children, that's going to be 5 times 28. We multiply the mean with the number of children. That's equal to 140 kg. Then same thing, sum of the weight of the 2 children, that's going to be 2 times 26.5. That's 53 kgs. So total weight of 3 children is going to be 140 minus 53, which is equal to 87 kg. So mean is going to be 87 divided by 3, and that is going to give us 29 kg as the mean weight of the 3 children who are still on the trampoline. Then, given that m equals to 18 to the power of 4n times 2 cube whole power n square minus 6n times 3 to the power of 2 times 1 minus 4n, we have to find the values of n for which m equals to 2. So, if m equals to 2, that's 18 to the power of 4n times 2, let's expand the bracket, 3n square minus 18n times 3, 2 minus 8n divided by 12 squared. 12 squared is 144. Let's multiply that with the 2 over here. So 2 times 144. I'm going to split the 18 into 2 times 9, whole power 4n. The reason why I'm splitting into 2 times 9 is because I want all of the exponents with the base of 2 or 3, not anything else. So we have to change 18 into a base of 2 and 3. This remains as it is right now. Okay, now, so 144 times 2 is 288. Let's see if we can split 288 into the base of 2 or 3. So 288 divided by 3 is not possible, but by 2. So 288 is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 to the power of 5 times 3 squared. That's what 288 is. So we can rewrite that as 2 to the power 5 times 3 squared. Over here, I'm going to rewrite 9 as 3 squared. So when we distribute the power, it's going to come on 2 and 3. So this is rewritten as 2 to the power of 5 times 3 squared. This becomes 2 to the power of 4n times 3 to the power of 8n. We're distributing the power of 4n over 2 and 3. Now we've split the 18 into 2 and 3 base as well. Now, if you notice, we only have the base of 2 and 3 for all of the exponents. So I'm going to combine the 2's and the 3's with each other. So over here, we have 2 to the power of 5 times 3 squared and 2 to the power of 4n, and this combines. So whenever we have similar bases being multiplied, we add the powers. So it's 4n plus 3n squared minus 18n times 3 to the power of 8n plus 2 minus 8n. Same thing. Same bases being multiplied, add the powers. So this is 2 to the power of 3n squared minus 14n, and this is 3 to the power of 2. 3 to the power of 2 gets cancelled out because they're being multiplied on both sides. 3 to the power of 2 divided by 3 to the power of 2 would be 1. So now we have 2 to the power of 5 equals to 2 to the power of 3n squared minus 14. Whenever we have similar bases existing alone on each side, we can put the powers equal to each other. So 5 equals to 3n squared minus 14n. 3n squared minus 14n minus 5. Solve the quadratic equation. So 3n squared minus 15n plus n minus 5. 3n bracket n minus 5 plus 1 bracket n minus 5. So n minus 5 bracket 3n plus 1 equals to 0. N equals to 5 and n equals to negative 1 over 3. That is your final answer.